pictures are on Yelp. Pull up all these pictures and you're like, oh, that's the dessert you're eating? All right, Michelle. That's the candle? Okay, that's the same candle. I know where you're at.
45 minutes to an hour.
45 minutes to an hour. Wait, can you run that long? No offense.
That's how I got married, dog. You know, first date, bro.
Was that what you did?
Yeah, my first date with her.
And look at
I think a guy's more comfortable being alone than a girl, but I mean, that's a whole
you
nother
think so?
I think.
First and foremost, thank you for listening to the Men Don't Know Podcast. I'm a man of many friends, your host and creator, Chris Boone. Here on the podcast, we talk with a bunch of guys. We ask a bunch of women questions over wine and cocktails. Whether you listen to it on Google Play, iRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Pandora, YouTube, Audible, you downloaded that Men Don't Know Podcast app. I cannot thank y'all enough. Merch store is open as always. Hit me up on Instagram at Men Don't Know, Twitter at Men Don't Know 1. Shoot me an email, Chris at mendontknow.com, or hop on the mendontknow.com website and shoot me a message. Corey, my guy, How are we living?
What's up?
Shit, man, chilling. Question of the day, and we are talking about dating, how it used to be, to what it is now, and would you ever consider dating out of state or out of country? And the reason why I ask that is because upon traveling and upon, vacationing, it is summertime and going out and meeting people, you're going to run across these things. I don't care what you say. You may run across, damn, she's so nice. You run across and find out, okay, she's from Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Like, that's dang. True. Or, you're at a pool party with your boys in Vegas, you find out, and, she's from Sweden.
That's the thing in Vegas.
Well, yeah,
there's only one Vegas.
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody from every country comes there.
100%. And it's like, y'all, she's like, do you mind if we keep in touch? And to be honest, what guy's really going to say no?
Right. 100%.
Like to now, now you turn the whole 90-day fiance. I'm not saying that's how it happens, but that you get what I'm saying. It could happen.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It could happen. So, my thing is, who better to call than my guy B? B.
Cracking.
How much were you doing?
Not much.
I'm here with Corey. Corey, say what's up, B.
B, what's up, man?
Hey, Corey.
Oh my gosh, this guy. Relax. Oh, you gotta take me off speaker because there's echo.
Oh, it's not a speakerphone. I have my headset on.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit of an echo. Let me see if I can just turn you down. This might work better. Okay, question of the day, and man, we were just perfect. Oh man, you coming in HD. I guess, man, we were talking about back in the day. You know how, when we used to date back in the day, women used to ask us like, not what car you drive or this, that, and the third. They was like, what's your 5-year plan?
Right.
And back then you were like, oh man, she wants to know what I'm trying to do in life and this, that, and third. And we thought that was a hindrance.
Mm-hmm.
Now you wish it was back that way. Because
yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I just said,
No, I just think that back then, I mean, like, our options weren't as much, and I think like we don't date like we used to as it is now. Back then, like, we have one goal, we get a target, we grab her, and then we all about her, right? Yep. So the conversations is about what the plans are, so like there's always this plan between both the male and the female to what their goals are as together, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the same thing with our parents and stuff too. Like I think they had a common goal, common idea that they have, and then they get together and then they follow that and they get to try to get to that. So I think now I feel like the options are so much now. Like the dating game is so broad and like there's so many people now, and it's just like those questions doesn't even. It's more like there's more questions that like nowadays that you have to answer or you have to ask. Like because back then, like I don't know. So sometimes like you the whole idea about if the female was the prize or the male was the prize, those kind of questions. Like we looked at it as the female was always the prize, right?
Yeah.
So back then, that's how we rolled. But like now, it's just like I feel like it's just kind of flipped a little bit. That's just my opinion. But
let me ask you this: now, because you've had the, how me and Coy met you. We met you out in Vegas. You were promoting at the time. We met you through friends and everything. I'm pretty sure you ran into women in other states and countries.
For sure.
Let's kind of put you there now. Would you be more susceptible to dating a woman out of state?
Out of state? I did. Well,
okay.
I mean, when I was living in Vegas, I was dating somebody out here in Chino Hills.
Yeah.
And then she moved out to New York, and I followed her. And dropped everything in Vegas to move out there for her. So, yeah, I did date somebody out of the town. So, and then I ended up moving for that person all the way in New York. So
let me ask you this now. Now that you're focusing and you're building your brand and whatnot, would you think it's easier to date somebody that is not in the state because it keeps you more focused when they're not here? Because I always tell women the same thing, and I tell men the same thing. Pussy and dick is a distraction.
Right. You're saying like long distance relationship, does that allow you the man to work on himself and you're only going to see them? I do agree on that because
it's just been on my, and I hate to say this, but it's been on my mind for a little bit, and I've been meaning to ask you, and I was like, what better place to ask you than on the podcast?
Yeah. So to me, like when I was doing long distance, the good thing about long distance is when you do see each other, your focus is on each other.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's been so long that you haven't seen each other, so that when you finally see each other, it's like, I mean, you're glued to each other.
Yeah.
You're like all focused on. You don't care about the phone.
No.
None of that. Nothing's going on. You're about just being with that person and just interacting with that person. No other distractions. Right? You don't think about a distraction because you have to cherish this moment because you don't have a lot of time. When you do meet each other, right?
Yeah.
You got to go back home, and then when you go back home, then you go back to your normal life, and going to like the whole that part is done. So it's like, so that thing for the man, and I can speak only for myself, obviously. So from my perspective, it does allow you to work on yourself, because there's no distractions at home. So, and that's another thing too. Like I think long distance relationships can work as long as there's a plan, right? So if you do have a plan in the sense of, all right, where are we going to, like, okay, let's say it's a 2-year plan, right? Let's say she's in New York, I'm here, and then I go over there in 2 years, and that's the game plan is to eventually, because you have to eventually have a plan where you meet up each other, right? One's got to move. It's either you move in there or she moves there. But if you don't have that clear direction off the back, then you're just dating for what? Like, what's the end goal? Like, you're just
100%.
You staying a long distance, that doesn't make sense, right? You have to have a game plan.
100%.
So you always have that. But it does allow the man and the woman to work on themselves. But when you do finally bring each other to each other, then like all your goals might be met by doing it yourself. And then now, both are like worked on themselves. And now when they are together, it's just, I think it'll blossom even better in a way.
Yeah, because it's two people at the peak and coming together to, like they always say, the top of one mountain's the bottom of the next. And so as they're at the top of their mountain separately, now they're about to scale the mountain of the relationship together. Right.
But the caveat to that is that if you go into the relationship like that, and that's fine. However, there's also that thing where
100%.
You don't know the other person until you actually start living.
100%.
That is going to be the next next thing that you have to work on. Like that's because I mean, like if it doesn't, like imagine like you done long distance for like 2 years, right? And you're finally moving together, and then you're like, man, this is how she fucking lives, and she's gonna be like, man, this guy is fucking dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like so. But those things,
That's why you have to do your trips too.
No, that's why you do your trips. But this is why I say, but You're meeting two people that are happy, genuinely, and successful apart. So if it doesn't work out, there's no malice. It's like, damn, we tried this and damn, we thought it was going to work. But I mean, damn, the best thing that happened to us was we got to focus on making ourselves great for one another, even though it didn't pan out. We're still both leaving at the top of our game.
So about that.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you guys are saying you get a chance to focus on your own self if it's long distance. So what would have happened if you met her and she's here? She's still the same good person, right? Okay, does that mean you're not focusing? And
it's just harder. It's hard.
So why even be together?
Because pussy is a distraction. God, it is a distraction. Trust me. It is.
I'm just saying, you meet the same girl, you like her both. Yeah. She happens to live far from you. Right. So you're saying you both can focus on yourself.
Your grind is tunnel vision and fucking locked in. I can't be tunnel vision. Go ahead.
Now she lived here. Would you still be tunnel vision or not?
I don't. So let me ask you one question. I'm gonna ask you this question. What is the number one thing for a man that they want in life? There's only one word.
Success.
No.
You're talking about pussy.
Right? Oh, peace.
No, we're talking about peace.
Peace, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's the number one thing that we want in life. Peace.
Yeah.
You can ask any man.
That's facts. No. You're right. You don't need that.
So what happens if... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, so when you're by yourself, you have peace. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you're together all the time and you're trying to work on yourself, you're trying to be successful in whatever you're doing, and there's a distraction. There's no peace there, right? So when a man is on his own trajectory of trying to build himself, and he's learning how to be peaceful within himself as well, right? Now, when another woman comes into your play, now she can all of a sudden mess everything up, right? But so the long distance helps that in a way, right? Because in long distance, you're still working on yourself. You're still with her, right? You're still with her. You're still giving her time and etc. as long distance, but you're not like distracting. She's not distracting you by like, okay, let's say I had I'm working on some business, right? And then she wants me to come over. I'll say, babe, I can't come over. Like I'm working on this shit, right? But if she's long distance, guess what?
It's out of the equation.
You don't have time for me.
Okay.
You don't have time. I'm going to work on myself, whatever I do. But when we do see each other, I'm going to give you my time. And that's the planned event, right? Yeah. It's going to be planned.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So, but when you're living here, it's never going to be planned. No. It's going to be, hey, are you going to come over? Hey, am I going to come over?
Or something spontaneous. Spontaneous. Something comes up. Let's go to a concert. Let's go to a game. Let's go.
No, I'm trying to build this right
now,
here.
Let me ask you this. Does the peace come after you guys move in then? Or in that place, it's a different version of peace?
It's a different version of peace because I feel like I'm already at peace. I'm already at peace and I have success.
Okay.
Now I'm getting you.
Because, that's an understandable peace at that point by both parties, I think. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you built yourself. Both of you guys are successful now. Now you're coming together and, you finally, like, all right, whatever you guys were doing alone to get to that one point to be together, and you finally get there, and now like, all right, look, we don't have to worry about anything else, but now we just focus on each other, and just focus on our relationship, and that's it. Because our money's good, whatever our careers are, they're good because the 2 years we got there with it, right? Mm-hmm. And now all we have to do is really focus on loving each other, and then keep building a family, creating a family, having babies or whatever the case, and so that's just the next step on it. So there's zero distractions when you do the long distance relationship, but man, it is hard.
Oh yeah,
like
100%.
Long distance relationship is
100%. 100%. It's not for the weak. Not for the weak.
Because a lot of it has to do with the trust. The trust factor.
Hell yeah.
Because trust factor is only built through seeing the person over and over on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're constantly seeing each other, then there's no way that you have enough room to do anything with anybody else or talk to anybody else or et cetera, right? But I mean, of course, some guys are idiots. They're going to do it. They're going to do what they're going to do, right? But I'm not speaking for them. I'm just speaking in generality wise. How I look at it is like, look, if you're in a long distance relationship, when you are with her, give her the time. Until then, work on yourself, and then make sure she's working on herself as well. So when you do finally get to each other, it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Not even that. So, it's just like I said. I guess even if it doesn't work out, I found peace and success. I have nothing. I can. All I want to do is just, and if it doesn't work out, I'm thanking you for allowing me to put in those years to find peace and be successful.
Exactly. So that's the other thing too, because sometimes men go chasing women and forget about getting their back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So forget about their back because they're chasing. But now in this situation, you still got your woman. Yep. You're still somewhat chasing, but you're still getting your bag at the same time, right?
Yep.
Now, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. However, you still got your bag, right? You move on to the next. For the man, it's like a perfect scenario because even if she doesn't want to fall in line with him or whatever the case, whatever she doesn't want to be with him or whatever, fine, cool, no problem. At least the man did not just lose fucking 2 years of, trying to court her and all that stuff and then
I doubled up,
right?
Yeah, I doubled up and got to it.
I got my career. I'm good. I got my bag.
Hey, Doug, am I on speaker again? Because it's going like super choppy.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Oh, man, you're HD now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So I think, like, for me, I just feel like in the long distance actually can work. It's going to take a lot of
100%
trust with both parties.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is going to come down to the female side because I think it's just they're just wired to think that long distance is never going to work because of the fact that the guy can have more options on that end that she's never around. So because women like security, and so if you don't provide security in the sense of in the relationship, they're going to feel like, oh, you know what, maybe he's playing around and etc. Yeah. So that's a very important part in the long distance relationship that you show her trust, you show her security, you show that I got you and etc.
Yeah.
In the midst of you still working on yourself.
All right, now you know me. I like to take it a step further. I don't like. When they go lower, we go to hell. You know what I'm saying? I like to take it further.
Go low, we go to the basement.
Yeah, exactly. When they take it far, we go overseas. And by overseas, I mean, do you think you could do a long distance relationship with someone international? I'm pretty sure you've met a bunch of women that lived out of the country that came in to have a good time in Vegas.
Correct. I dated somebody in Canada.
Okay, see? So my question to you is...
Actually, you guys met her.
Okay. Don't say her name.
So have I.
I don't even remember her name, actually, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
But remember we went to the Clippers game together?
Yeah.
Like that girl that...
Yeah.
So, she's from Canada. So,
okay.
Obviously it didn't work out. She couldn't handle it. She couldn't handle the distance.
Right. But
I was cool with it, but I think for her, she wanted somebody more... some females want that, that attention on a daily basis. Like, they want to hang out all the time, which is understandable.
100%. 100%.
That's just who they are. I mean, if they're grown up that way, like they see their parents like that all the time, so they want to be close to them. They're not good with that during the long distance, but they want to be more intimate. They want to be cuddling up with a significant other all the time. So that is a big deal for females because, they're very emotional.
Got it.
So... if they're having a bad day and you're the man, they want you to comfort her, right?
Yeah.
So, but you can't comfort the person over the phone all the time.
Yep.
It's not. You want that.
You got to see that. You got to see their emotion on their face
100%.
when they come home, and
100%. 100%.
Yeah, bro, that's the thing. I mean, and that's some of the things that I lacked in my past relationships. I think I was just raised to be very direct in ways with my dad. My dad always been like a very direct man, so. He wasn't the most the lovable type. Yeah, he's just a provider, right? Yeah. He's a protector and provider, but never was like the emotional type of guy. So I kind of was the same way. So I lacked in those parts. Like I didn't catch on to those situations. Like when she comes in the door, like, is she having a bad day? So instead of addressing if she is having a bad day, I'm being defensive because I know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I learned over the time, now looking back at things, it's like, man, I dropped the ball on some of the flags that, she was trying to get me to catch.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so now being where you're at now, let me ask you this, Coy. Coy, can you do out of state or international or not? You in-house only?
Now I can't because, like B, I too have dated a Canadian, so I know.
I didn't say it. Damn, relax, B. Relax, God, relax, B.
I don't think I could do it now. It's just like we just talked about. It's just too many factors, you know.
100%.
But I had a random long distance question to ask you guys. What do you think is harder or works out better? If you met a girl, let's just randomly say in Vegas, and then you start dating from there, but obviously you live far from each other, and then it goes on, or versus you meet somebody here, you were already dating for years, and then she moves away or you move away, and then continuing the long distance. What do you think is tougher?
Tougher?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tough, the second one.
The move away one?
Yeah, the move away way tougher.
Because you're already used to it.
Yeah, 100%.
You're already used to it?
Because you're already used to each other the way it is.
Gotcha.
So now it changes the dynamic of the relationship
100%.
because now everything changes. Now, like, she doesn't get the weekly times that she gets to see me, the cuddles, the emotional side of things that I won't get to, like, help her out with. You know, like, if she has a bad day, I'm not there to comfort her. So, like, that's going to be tough. So, yeah, I think if the relationship started off and then you're moving away from each other, if it was for work or, you know, some other family situation or whatever the case, I think it's a lot tougher. I think at that point, you know, they would have to make a decision of like, hey, are we going to continue this, or are we going to have a plan of, all right, in 2 years or in 6 months, I'm going to be moving out there or whatever the case. And I think that's what, for me, and when I went to New York, that was I think it was a little bit tough for me because I kind of, like, we started dating, you know, even though I was in Vegas and she was in California.
Yeah.
It was still close, right? I can still go see her. But now, then when she then went to New York, one of us had to make a move. And I knew she wasn't going to come. So I had to make a move in order for me to be with her. That's what I had to do. I mean, I kind of got an ultimatum from her. It's either it's either move out there or, like, we don't work out. And understandably, you know, that, understandably. So I'm like, and I made this move out there. It didn't work out, you know, but my thing is I'd rather find out the hard way, not than finding out at all, because what could have been a good relationship, I will never not make those risks, take those risks, because at the end, like, I don't want to have any regrets in any relationship.
That part.
No regrets.
That part.
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do is, like, you think back, you know, as you get older, you be like, man, why didn't I move out there? Maybe it would have worked out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't want that in the back of my head. I'd rather just say, hey, I went out there. I did my part. You know what I'm saying? Like, I manned up. Yeah. And, like, at least I can feel good about myself. I was like, you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of guys wouldn't do that in that moment, right? But I did it, and I can feel proud about that. And like, the rest is just history, and, you know, whatever happens. I'm not going to agree with what I do.
So now where you're at, long distance or no?
I think I wouldn't mind the long distance. Actually.
Because I'm you know what, now even more so now, I'm 100% Like, I feel like I'm like if I like, and this me being you know, totally transparent, honest, I feel like I'm, like, fucking right there, like there. And if you know, if I can just dial it in just a little bit more for that next year, and just lock in, and, you know, I always, you know, if I could just dial it in and lock in without being distracted, oh God, 10x.
I say this, like, for guys like us, me and you, Chris, I think because we're working on something bigger. Yeah. Right? And if a woman is there next to you, you know, on a daily basis, supporting one another on the long distance side of things, and knowing that in the end game, you are going to, you know, make things happen with each other, you know, let's say a year from now, right? That's the goal, right? Yeah. But when it does, bro, if she freaking hangs on to you, if she just plays the part properly, not fucking around and none of that, but just being there, each other, just, you know, learning each other, you know, over the phone, talking to one another, and etc. If you do that, the man will fucking have your back for the rest of your life.
100%.
Right? 100%. Because it means a lot more to us.
Hell yeah.
Of what you're doing and being beside us all the way through this whole journey. Yeah. And remember, when I win, you're going to win 100 times.
Yeah.
right? Because that's another thing. And here's the other part about the intimacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you know how to have sex talk over the phone, and all kinds of stuff like that builds character within each other in the relationship too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're doing the whole, doing sexy time over the phone. Well, now you got FaceTime and stuff. You can do a lot of stuff, right?
You can do that. That's
what I'm saying. You have that access now.
Yeah.
Back then, we didn't have that access, right? If we do long distance, so it's harder. So now, if you still want to be sexually active with the person, even doing it on the phone, you can still, do that. So.
Facts.
And then those kind of things eventually just build up to better things, because when you see each other, it's like that passion's going to be there. Everything's going to be there.
Dude, imagine long distance on the landline back then. How would you even do it on the dial? I'm talking about the tick 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 the dial.
That sleepless in Seattle, bro.
How much was that phone bill?
Crazy. It's crazy.
Like if the woman is not a strong woman you can't get a hold of it, she can't get a hold of you, bro, it'd be bad for her. Because, a landline, it ain't like you can just call her right away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
First of all, like, if you page her, like, she pages you, you got to find a phone first. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's a lot more stuff.
That's that international time difference is big time, too.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about Canada. That's nothing. That's just, but if you're really international,
you got to plan it out. But it also takes two. Anything takes two. So I'll leave it on that.
Yeah, I think but like I said, Chris, you have to have a plan with each other.
100%.
Right in the beginning.
100%.
Like 100%. You have to lay the groundwork down. Like 100%. You'll be like, all right, look, this is where I live. You live there.
Yeah.
If this is going to want to work out, obviously I want to be with you or whatever the case is. You have to have an end goal, right?
Yep, 100%.
Like, I'll move out there to you, but I got to do this first so we can, we're good when we are together, right?
Yep, 100%.
And if she can hold on to that and she's cool with it, like, all right, then we have a game plan, right?
Yep, facts.
But here's the thing. Even with the game plan, you can have all the game plans in the world.
Don't matter.
It don't matter because sometimes things can happen.
Yeah, if it's meant to be, it'll be.
Or another man could come in the way.
Yeah.
And you never expect it, right?
Yep.
Sometimes that guy could be or that woman could be the one too.
Yep, 100%.
You just don't know, and it could be unexpected,
100%.
right?
100%.
But it also comes from, if you're not looking, then you're not looking.
Yep.
That means your focus is on the other person. So it's going to come down to the individual person of what they're really trying to do here. Because if you're just trying to play the field while you're doing the long distances, it's just a pointless idea. You might as well just break it off and let that person be themselves. And if you finally see each other, in the future, and then go back to the cities that you were in, and you meet up again, and you guys are still saying, "Oh, cool, it'll work out." But you must have a game plan. If you don't have a game plan, it's just not going to work out. It's just going to be a heartache than anything.
Yeah, man. All right, man. I appreciate you, my boy. We're going to let you go. I'll hit you up in a minute.
All right, brother.
Later, brother.
For sure. Yeah.
Damn. I like it. Solid answer. I didn't think he'd be on my side on this one, though. Which was crazy, but, touche. First phone, thank everybody for listening. Listen to it on Google Play, iRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Pandora, YouTube, Audio, where you downloaded that Men Don't Know podcast app. I cannot thank y'all enough. Merch store is open as always. Hit me up on Instagram at Men Don't Know, Twitter, Men Don't Know 1. Shoot me an email, Chris at mendontknow.com, or hop on the mendontknow.com website and shoot me a message. Koi, my guy, we are out.
How many pictures are on Yelp? Pull up all these pictures and you're like, oh, that's the dessert you're eating? All right, Michelle. That's the candle? Okay, that's the same candle. I know where you're at.
45 minutes to an hour.
45 minutes to an hour. Wait, can you run that long? No offense.
That's how I got married, dog. First date, bro.
Was that what you did?
Yeah, my first date with her.
And look at
I think a guy's more comfortable being alone than a girl, but I mean, that's a whole nother
You think so?
Being